Ladies and gentlemen, there exists within every human being an invisible force, an inner current of power that determines the direction of one's life. Some call it energy, some call it vibration, but I call it what it truly is, a magnetic aura. And today, I want you to understand that this aura of yours is not fixed, not predetermined, not dictated by your past. Every fortune ever built began first as a whisper in the human mind, a thought so charged with emotion, so persistent in belief that the universe itself had no choice but to bend in its favor. Wealth is not attracted merely by labor or talent. It is attracted by mentality. A person with a strong magnetic aura does not chase riches. Riches move toward them. Your aura grows magnetic the moment you decide, truly decide what you desire, not a casual wish, not a passing hope, but a clearly defined vision, held with unwavering certainty. When you know what you want, when you see it and feel it as though it is already yours, you set the entire world in motion to deliver it. To desire alone is not enough. Belief is the spark that electrifies your aura. The world does not reward doubt. It rewards conviction. Every great achiever you admire once stood where you stand now, with an invisible dream and a visible reality that did not yet match. But they believed so intensely, so completely, that their aura became a beacon calling success to their doorstep. And belief, when combined with action, becomes unstoppable. Action taken with hesitation is weak. Action taken with fear is divided. But action taken with faith, unyielding, enthusiastic, determined, creates momentum so powerful that obstacles crumble before it. As you develop this magnetic aura, you will notice something extraordinary. Opportunities begin appearing out of nowhere. People enter your life who carry ideas, resources, and support. Doors open that were once locked. Situations align with surgical precision. This is not luck. It is the natural response to a trained aura. To pull wealth toward you, discipline your thoughts, guard them as if they were treasures, because they are. Speak only of what you want, not of what you fear. Hold your posture like someone destined for greatness. Act with purpose, think with clarity, and move as if a million unseen forces are working in your favor. Because they are, you become wealthy in spirit long before you become wealthy in reality. The inner world must transform before the outer world can reflect it. Build the mindset, and the money will follow. Strengthen the aura, and abundance will be drawn to you as naturally as a compass needle turns north. Your inner vibration shapes your outer circumstances. This is not a poetic idea meant only to inspire. It is a fundamental principle of how human experience unfolds. Everything you think, feel, believe, and focus on generates a subtle frequency, a personal atmosphere that surrounds you. This inner atmosphere influences how you respond to situations, how others respond to you, and what opportunities or challenges you naturally attract. If you have ever walked into a room and instantly felt drawn to someone without knowing why, you have witnessed the power of vibration. If you've ever met a person whose presence felt heavy, tense, or draining, you've experienced the same principle from the other side. Your vibration is constantly communicating your state of mind to the world long before you ever speak a word. To understand how deeply this affects your circumstances, think of your inner vibration as the broadcast tower of your life. Whatever signal you send out, whether of confidence or fear, abundance or scarcity, purpose or confusion, determines the kind of experiences that tune into your frequency. A chaotic inner world generates chaotic results. A calm, focused, and purposeful inner world generates clarity, opportunity, and growth. People often attempt to change their outer conditions without shifting their internal state, and then wonder why nothing improves. The truth is simple. Your outer world is a mirror, reflecting the dominant patterns of your inner world. If you want the reflection to change, you must first adjust the source. Your vibration is shaped by your thoughts. Every thought carries energy. A thought repeated becomes a belief, and a belief held long enough becomes a vibration that radiates through your actions, expressions, and choices. When you constantly think in terms of limitation, I can't, I'm not ready, I never get opportunities, you emit a vibration of defeat, and life responds accordingly. But the moment you begin thinking in empowered terms, I can learn, I am capable, I deserve more, I choose to rise, you ignite a new frequency that pulls better circumstances toward you. It isn't magic, it's alignment. When your thoughts and goals are aligned, opportunities that once seemed invisible suddenly appear because you are finally tuned to notice them and bold enough to pursue them. Emotion intensifies vibration. A thought with no emotion is weak, but a thought charged with feeling becomes magnetic. This is why desire, gratitude, enthusiasm, and belief have transformative power. When you feel grateful, your vibration expands. When you feel inspired, your vibration brightens. When you feel confident, your vibration strengthens. The opposite is also true. Fear contracts your vibration, doubt dims it, and resentment clouds it. If you want to change your circumstances, you must cultivate emotions that support your growth rather than sabotage it. Your vibration is also shaped by your environment and habits. What you consume through conversation, media, relationships, and daily routines either elevates or pollutes your energy. If you spend time with people who complain, criticize, or drain your spirit, your vibration sinks to match their frequency. If you surround yourself with people who think big, act boldly, and encourage your dreams, your vibration rises. Likewise, the habits you practice daily set the baseline for your frequency. When you choose discipline, gratitude, intentional action, and self-care, your vibration becomes strong and stable. When you choose procrastination, negativity, and chaos, your vibration becomes inconsistent and easily shaken. The most powerful aspect of inner vibration is that you have complete control over it. You don't control external events, but you control the energy you bring to those events. You don't control the behavior of others, but you control your response. You don't control every circumstance, but you control the lens through which you interpret each circumstance. This power is available to you at every moment. The question is whether you will use it consciously or allow old patterns to use it for you. As your vibration shifts, the world begins shifting with it. People treat you differently. New ideas enter your mind. Doors open that were once shut. Challenges lose some of their weight because you approach them with a stronger, clearer, more confident energy. Many call this coincidence or luck, but it is simply the natural result of inner change expressing itself outwardly. To elevate your vibration, begin by observing your thoughts. Notice which ones empower you and which ones weaken you. Replace the ones that drain you with thoughts that reinforce your strength and potential. Choose emotions intentionally. Practice gratitude, enthusiasm, determination, and faith until they become your natural state. Protect your energy by choosing environments, conversations, and influences that support your highest intentions. Take actions that reflect the person you aim to become, not the fears you hope to escape. Wealth responds to clarity of purpose and unwavering belief. This is a principle that has guided every great builder of fortune, whether they were conscious of it or not. Wealth is not drawn to vague intentions, half-hearted wishes, or uncertain dreams. It moves toward the individual who knows precisely what they desire and refuses to entertain doubt about achieving it. Clarity of purpose creates direction, and belief gives that direction power. When these two forces combine, they form an irresistible magnet that pulls resources, opportunities, and people into your path. Clarity of purpose begins with knowing exactly what you want. Most people never become wealthy because they never define wealth for themselves. They speak in generalities. I want more money, I want a better life, I want success. But the universe does not respond to vague signals. It responds to specificity. To activate the process of attraction, you must articulate the vision with precision. How much wealth do you desire? For what purpose? What will you build, create, contribute, or transform with it? What kind of life will it allow you to live? What impact will it have on your family, your future, and your legacy? The clearer your vision, the stronger your internal compass becomes. Clarity gives you direction, but unwavering belief gives you momentum. Once you declare your purpose, you will face resistance from within and from the outside world. Doubt will whisper, fear will question. Others may misunderstand your ambition or underestimate your potential. But belief is the shield that protects your purpose from erosion. Belief is the fire that keeps your intention alive when circumstances appear bleak. Belief is the force that turns setbacks into stepping stones instead of dead ends. The wealth you seek does not respond to casual faith. It responds to conviction. When you possess unwavering belief, your mind becomes a tool of creation. Instead of focusing on limitations, it looks for possibilities. Instead of being paralyzed by obstacles, it seeks solutions. Instead of shrinking in the face of challenges, it rises with greater determination. Unwavering belief does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to surrender to it. It means knowing that your vision has the power to reshape reality if you remain loyal to it long enough. Wealth is drawn to those who take consistent action. And consistent action comes naturally when your purpose is clear and your belief unshakable. People often struggle with procrastination or inconsistency, not because they lack discipline, but because their purpose is blurred. When your goal is vividly defined and emotionally charged, acting toward it becomes almost automatic. You wake with intention. You move with certainty. You make decisions aligned with your vision. You filter out distractions that do not support your direction. Every step you take, no matter how small, becomes meaningful because it is connected to a larger mission. Clarity also creates confidence. When you know where you are going, you walk differently, speak differently, and behave differently. This confidence becomes noticeable to others. People want to support someone who radiates certainty. Investors, customers, collaborators, and mentors naturally gravitate toward a person who seems to know what they want and where they are headed. Confidence is magnetic, and its foundation is clarity of purpose. Belief, on the other hand, creates resilience. When your belief is unshakable, failures do not derail you. They instruct you. Setbacks are not signals to quit. They are refining pressures, shaping your character and strengthening your determination. Wealth rarely arrives without challenge, but unwavering belief ensures that challenge becomes fuel rather than friction. The more you believe in your vision, the more persistent you become. Persistence is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, even the best ideas fade. With it, even the most improbable dreams become possible. Clarity and belief work together to activate your intuition. You begin noticing opportunities you previously overlooked. Your mind becomes alert to connections, ideas, and resources that align with your purpose. Conversations that once seemed ordinary now reveal insights. Situations that once appeared irrelevant become stepping stones. This heightened awareness is not coincidence. It is the natural result of inner alignment. When your inner world is focused and confident, the external world begins revealing pathways you could not see before. Wealth is not solely material. It begins as a mindset. A wealthy mind thinks in terms of possibility, abundance, expansion, and impact. It does not settle for survival. It seeks growth. It does not wait for permission. It moves with intention. It does not depend on luck. It creates opportunity. A wealthy mind is built through clarity of purpose and strengthened through unwavering belief. When you decide what you want and believe it with absolute certainty, you become a creator rather than a spectator. You shape your circumstances instead of being shaped by them. You command your future instead of being carried by chance. The world responds to those who have made an internal decision to rise. Wealth moves toward clarity. Wealth obeys belief. Wealth follows the individual who knows what they want and refuses to doubt that they can achieve it. The mind becomes magnetic when disciplined, focused, and emotionally charged. This is not symbolic language. It is a description of how human potential transforms into a force powerful enough to attract opportunity, resources, and success. A scattered mind cannot create. A doubting mind cannot attract. A passive mind cannot pull anything toward it. But a disciplined and emotionally energized mind becomes a living magnet, drawing ideas, people, and circumstances into alignment with its dominant intentions. Discipline is the foundation of mental magnetism. A disciplined mind is one that obeys the will rather than being controlled by impulse, distraction, or fear. Most people allow their thoughts to wander without direction. They permit doubts to rule them, habits to weaken them, and outside influences to dictate their inner state. But discipline transforms the mind from a reactive instrument into a controlled powerhouse. It means choosing your thoughts deliberately, rejecting those that weaken you and nurturing those that support your goals. Discipline is the ability to return your attention to what matters, no matter how many times it drifts. When the mind becomes disciplined, it gains strength and stability, like a muscle trained through repetition. This strength forms the first layer of magnetism. Focus is the second element. Focus directs the energy of the mind onto a single target until it becomes unavoidable. Without focus, the mind leaks its power. It jumps from idea to idea, goal to goal, emotion to emotion, without building enough force in any direction to produce measurable results. But focus gathers all your mental energy and channels it like a beam of light. When the mind is focused on a specific outcome, it begins filtering the world through that intention. You start noticing opportunities that match your goal. You recognize information that supports your progress. You naturally ignore distractions that once consumed your time. Focus makes your purpose real in your inner world long before it appears in your outer world. The more intensely you focus, the more magnetic your mind becomes, because focus gives your thoughts a clear direction in which to pull events. Yet discipline and focus alone are not enough. The mind becomes truly magnetic when it is emotionally charged. Emotion is the electricity that powers the magnet. A thought without emotion is weak. It sits quietly in the mind without influencing anything. But a thought infused with emotion becomes alive, vibrant, and compelling. When you combine your intention with emotion, whether that emotion is desire, passion, determination, or belief, you activate a vibration within your mind that radiates outward. You feel drawn to your goal, and your goal begins to feel drawn to you. Emotion turns the mind into a broadcasting station that sends a powerful signal into the world, a signal that attracts circumstances aligned with its frequency. Emotion also fuels persistence. When you feel deeply connected to your goal, you do not quit easily. You push through obstacles with greater resolve. You view temporary defeat as a challenge to grow rather than a command to stop. Emotion gives your disciplined and focused mind the stamina it needs to continue pulling your desires into reality. Without emotional charge, discipline becomes dry routine and focus becomes empty concentration. Emotion breathes life into both. A magnetic mind sees possibilities where others see limitations. Because it is disciplined, it does not allow fear or negativity to dominate. Because it is focused, it sees the path instead of the obstacles. Because it is emotionally charged, it moves with certainty and enthusiasm that others can feel. This combination makes people trust you, opportunities gravitate toward you, and ideas reveal themselves with clarity. A magnetic mind influences the environment rather than being influenced by it. When your mind reaches this state, your outer world begins to reflect the power of your inner world. You start experiencing synchronicities, moments where the right person, the right idea, or the right situation appears at just the right time. Some call this luck, others call it coincidence. But those who understand the laws of the mind know it is neither. It is the natural result of a mind operating at a high level of magnetic energy. A disciplined mind attracts structure. A focused mind attracts direction. An emotionally charged mind attracts momentum. To cultivate this magnetic state, you must practice daily mental conditioning. Start by disciplining your thoughts. Notice them, challenge the ones that weaken you, and replace them with thoughts aligned with your goals. Train your focus by concentrating deeply on one task at a time, eliminating unnecessary distractions, and ignite your emotional power by connecting every goal with a strong why, a meaningful reason that fuels desire and passion. Over time, these practices turn your mind into a source of irresistible attraction. Action taken with faith creates momentum that attracts opportunity. This principle is one of the most powerful forces in human achievement, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Many people believe that opportunity precedes action, that they must first wait for the perfect moment, the right resources, or a guarantee of success before they begin. In reality, the opposite is true. Action, especially action rooted in faith, creates the very conditions that lead to opportunity. Faith-driven action generates movement, and movement generates openings that would never appear to someone standing still. Faith is more than belief. It is conviction expressed through motion. It is the willingness to act boldly even when the path is not fully visible, trusting that each step forward will reveal the next. When you take action with faith, you send a message to your subconscious mind and to the world around you: I am committed, I am moving, I am ready. This message is powerful. It changes the way you think, the way you behave, and the way you perceive possibilities. It shifts your energy from passive expectation to active creation. Instead of waiting for life to hand you an opportunity, you begin generating your own. The act of moving forward sets off a chain reaction. Once you take the first step, the second becomes clearer, the third becomes easier, and your confidence grows stronger. This is the momentum that transforms hesitant beginnings into unstoppable progress. People often underestimate the power of momentum. They imagine success as a single breakthrough, a moment where everything changes. But in truth, success is usually a series of small, consistent actions taken with belief that accumulate into powerful forward motion. Each step compounds. Each effort builds upon the last. Momentum is the invisible force that turns effort into acceleration. When faith fuels your action, that momentum becomes magnetic. You begin attracting people who notice your determination and want to support your mission. You attract ideas because your mind is now alert, engaged, and mentally open to new possibilities. You attract resources because you are actively creating reasons for resources to flow toward you. This magnetism is not mystical, it is practical. Others trust a person who demonstrates belief through action. They trust someone moving confidently in a direction. They trust someone who takes initiative. Opportunity naturally gravitates toward individuals who show they are prepared to act on it. Faith-driven action also breaks down internal barriers. Fear cannot survive in a mind that continues to move. Doubt loses its power when you refuse to stand still. Procrastination dissolves when you choose action over hesitation. Most people are held back not by external circumstances, but by inner resistance, by the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being ready. Faith is the antidote. Faith speaks louder than fear. When you take action despite uncertainty, you reclaim control over your future. You stop letting emotion dictate your destiny. You become the driver rather than the passenger in your own life. Another powerful effect of action based on faith is the development of clarity. Many people wait for clarity before acting, but clarity often comes only after you start moving. The process itself reveals what you truly want, what works, and what doesn't. Action exposes weaknesses and strengths, illuminates mistakes and insights, and sharpens your vision. Faith allows you to step forward even when clarity is incomplete, trusting that the act of movement will refine your direction. In this way, action becomes both teacher and guide. Along this path, you will encounter challenges. Some doors will close, some efforts will fail. But when action is driven by faith, setbacks are not signs to quit. They are signs to adjust. They are part of the momentum-building process. Failure taken with faith becomes fuel. Instead of discouraging you, it deepens your resolve. Instead of diminishing your belief, it tests and strengthens it. Faith is not the absence of difficulty, it is the power that helps you rise above difficulty. And every time you rise, you increase your momentum and your ability to attract the opportunities that align with your purpose. The world is full of people who are capable but inactive, talented but timid, intelligent but immobilized by self-doubt. But the individuals who rise, the ones who attract success, are those who take consistent faith-powered action even when logic says the timing isn't perfect. They trust the process, they trust their vision, they trust that each courageous step forward generates forces that work in their favor. When action is joined with faith, you stop chasing opportunity and begin drawing it toward you. You become someone others want to collaborate with because your determination is evident. You become someone who stands out because you are willing to do what most people hesitate to do. You become someone who creates momentum so powerful that opportunities appear almost as if they are seeking you. Action opens the door. Faith keeps it open long enough for opportunity to walk through. Momentum invites opportunity to stay. You become wealthy in spirit before you become wealthy in reality. This truth sits at the foundation of every lasting success story. Material wealth, the money, the assets, the comforts, the opportunities, does not appear first. It is always preceded by an internal transformation. Wealth begins as a state of mind, a way of thinking, a disciplined emotional atmosphere. It begins within long before it manifests in the physical world. To become wealthy on the outside, you must first cultivate the inner qualities that attract and sustain abundance. Spiritual wealth is not about religion or mysticism. It is the richness of your inner world. It is the presence of confidence, gratitude, clarity, purpose, discipline, and belief. When you build these internal qualities, you are shaping the mindset that naturally leads to material success. Without this foundation, outward wealth, if it appears at all, becomes unstable, short-lived, or unsatisfying. But when your inner spirit is already abundant, material wealth becomes a natural expression of the person you have become. To become wealthy in spirit means learning to think in terms of possibility instead of limitation. Many people sabotage themselves with scarcity thinking long before they ever reach the threshold of opportunity. They convince themselves that resources are limited, that success is for others, that money is difficult to earn, that risks are too dangerous. These beliefs shrink their potential. But spiritual wealth begins with expansive thinking, the belief that opportunities are abundant, that growth is possible, that your abilities can evolve, and that life responds to your mindset. This shift from scarcity to abundance is the starting point of inner wealth. Wealth in spirit also means developing emotional resilience. Before you can handle material success, you must learn how to handle challenges, criticism, failure, and uncertainty. Wealth requires the strength to persist despite obstacles and maintain faith even when the path is unclear. A wealthy spirit sees setbacks as lessons, not losses. It sees detours as redirections rather than dead ends. This resilience becomes the emotional backbone that allows you to grow into someone capable of achieving and sustaining wealth. Without this strength, any challenge would be enough to stop you. But with it, challenges become stepping stones to greater capability. Another key part of spiritual wealth is gratitude. Gratitude expands your emotional capacity, strengthens your vibration, and opens your mind to opportunity. When you appreciate what you have, you create a mindset of abundance. You train your mind to notice the good rather than the missing. You become more resourceful, more optimistic, and more capable of identifying possibilities. Gratitude does not mean being complacent. It means being empowered. It means recognizing the value in every stage of your journey, which in turn allows you to move forward with confidence instead of desperation. This inner richness attracts outer richness. To be wealthy in spirit is also to have a clear sense of purpose. People who achieve lasting success do not move aimlessly, they move with intention. They know why they are working, what they want to build, and who they want to become. Purpose gives meaning to effort. It creates alignment between action and belief. When your spirit is guided by purpose, you are less likely to be discouraged by setbacks or seduced by distractions. You develop the kind of inner direction that allows wealth to materialize in a focused and sustainable way. Purpose turns your life into a mission, and missions attract resources. Self-worth is another essential part of spiritual wealth. You cannot attract what you do not believe you deserve. Many people stop themselves from pursuing greater opportunities because they subconsciously feel unworthy of abundance. They fear success, visibility, responsibility, or judgment. But when your spirit is wealthy, you understand your inherent value. You recognize your ability to grow into your goals. You no longer doubt whether you deserve success. You understand that your effort, growth, and contribution make you deserving. Self-worth is the doorway through which material wealth enters. Becoming wealthy in spirit also means learning to think long-term. It means understanding that success is not built overnight, but through consistent, intentional action. A wealthy spirit is patient yet ambitious, confident yet humble, driven yet grounded. It knows that progress compounds and that small daily improvements lead to monumental results over time. Impatience is a sign of spiritual poverty. Vision and discipline are signs of spiritual abundance. When you develop the mindset to play the long game, wealth naturally follows because you are willing to persist long after others quit. Most importantly, spiritual wealth involves believing in your own power to shape your life. Before reality can change, your self-image must change. You must see yourself as capable, as creative, as resourceful, as worthy, as someone who can build, achieve, and rise. When you embody this identity, your actions shift accordingly. You make decisions that reflect your potential rather than your fears. You pursue possibilities that once seemed out of reach. You show up with a confidence that draws people and opportunities toward you. Once you become wealthy in spirit, rich in belief, purposeful in direction, abundant in gratitude, resilient in challenge, and strong in self-worth, the outer world begins to shift in your favor. You attract better choices because you make better decisions. You attract better relationships because you exude confidence and clarity. You attract better opportunities because your energy signals readiness. Material wealth begins to form because you have already become the person capable of receiving it.